Hi, and welcome to episode 3 of my continuing Let's Play of Her Story. Right at the end of episode 2, the interviewee just fingered her sister for killing Simon. Sister who apparently with just a wig looks exactly like her. I've seen this movie dozens of times by now. Yeah, I'm a little suspicious of that. Okay, so it says sister killed Simon. Accident. Mirror.
My name is Hannah. H-A-N-N-A-H is my name. It reads the same backwards as forwards. It doesn't work if you mirror it though, it's not quite symmetrical, but well, you get the idea. Sorry. Hannah Smith, I live at 31 Gladstone Street.
That was an interesting one to come across. I've been dying for the names. Her and her sister.
The mirror. I can't remember. I put it somewhere safe. Upstairs, I think. Haven't looked at it since.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all? Because if you put a wig on and you look into a mirror, it'd be like talking to an identical twin sister.
Silverleaf? No. He normally silvers them properly. This mirror, it's supposed to look antique. The reflection isn't as good. It's the perfect mirror for someone who doesn't like to look at their own reflection.
That right there is just really weird.
No. He normally silvers who doesn't like to look at their own reflection.
Okay, I have to say, I'm really thinking she did this. Doesn't like to look in the mirror. Yes, because the face she sees isn't her own, it's her sister's. Lots of entries.
What are you doing talking about Eve?
Oh, you sneaky bastard! Okay, that's interesting. A couple of things there. The sneaky bastard bit is He left the videotape running when he stepped out of the interview room, as she talked to herself. I assume Eve is the sister. But what's interesting there, play this again.
What are you doing talking about Eve?
Not code. She's communicating. The thing with twins, right? One of them's got a tattoo. I'm just wondering, are these interviews all Hannah? Oh, hello. Polygraph.
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. Oh, shit. Sorry.
Polygraph. I don't think they actually use those in the UK.
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead. But I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper.
Right, so this is Eve, who looks exactly like Hannah, but it's how they wear their hair. Well, Eve's definitely wearing it more down on the left side.
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, she recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. It was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place. Well, my friend Eve. She was a friend from when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes.
Just where had been writing down the interview dates. I stopped doing it, and I really wish I hadn't now, because now I'm putting names next to them.
Yes. We'd fight. We fought on the beach once, and I held Eve's head underwater. There was no one else around. It was at the far end of the beach. And I held her head under, and I kept it under. And for a moment, I just wanted to kill her. and watch her drown. But that was it. It was just a moment. We made up after. It was a love-hate relationship. A police station. Yeah. When I was young, we ran away on my birthday. Bob Dylan was playing in London and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him. The taxi driver we paid to drop us off. I mean, we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve. So my parents let me off.
Is she planning an insanity defense?
My mother called me Eve.
Oh, I really wish it didn't limit these things. Okay, so what I need to start doing is cross-referencing terms. I stopped writing down interview dates, and I really wish I hadn't. Right, that's something I want to look up.
Yes. I'll take a lie detector test.
So this is supposedly Eve?
I've never taken a lie detector test before. Does it really work? My name. That was the only question I failed. The lie detector works.
So Eve is pretending. Okay. So wait. She said her sister was gone. Which sister? See, this is almost a classic trope, isn't it? Are there really two sisters? Were there always two sisters? And there's only one now? Was there still two sisters? Or was there only ever one? Ah, it's about time I...
Twins? Really? Are you really asking me that question?
Yeah, I'm asking that question.
Are you out of your mind? Twins? Florence took me home with her mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up, take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion. There were always princes and princesses. They were the special people, more important than the other characters in their stories. We knew we were like that. Twins. Magical. We were the princesses. We had a poster of Princess Diana from the newspaper up in our attic. Had pride of place. And underneath we used to put all our special things. When her engagement was announced, we were obsessed with everything she did. And later, when her life went so bad, we felt for her. Her divorce last year just kind of drew a line under things.
See, you keep talking about fairy tales. How about this one? The Prince and the Pauper. Where they swap they're identical and they swap roles. See, back in the beginning, it came out as what I thought was going on is that Simon had been with Eve first, and he cheated on her with Hannah. Hannah became pregnant, and they married, and the sister was just gone. Eve was gone. What if... No. Because that confused me, because this is... Why did she call? Why did she call her? Because you got the impression that they were teenagers. But why would you call them if you lived together? So they live separately, which is what this whole thing with Florence explains. And then... What if they were both dating Simon, and both saying they were Hannah? Except one of them got pregnant. That one had to be the real Hannah. That one had to be Hannah. The other one had to be Eve. Going off a ship, separate thread. No. No. Not having any. Oh, okay, 61 was Simon. Let's bring that down over here. This is a useful little thing. Okay. Randomly pick another thread. Okay.
Then my parents died. It was the worst year of my life. A miscarriage and then my parents.
Let me guess. House fire. Or possibly car accident. Frank's got a little case of cutting.
They'd gone to bed feeling ill, thinking it was flu or something. The neighbour called me, I had to use my key to let them in. We found them dead in their bed.
Carbon monoxide poisoning.
And they'd been there for days. No one had noticed. Just awful. It was so soon after my miscarriage. The worst year of my life. I'd been so happy to get married, and after that it was just like, fuck.
I really wish it didn't do that. It was just like, oh, I'm artsy. Ha ha ha. I'm like, cool. No, it just looks kind of silly.
Yeah. I mean, I was infertile. Thought I was. They told me I was infertile after the miscarriage because of complications.
So, Hannah was infertile after the miscarriage. And then there's pregnancy. Miracle pregnancy! What if that was Eve who was pregnant?
Hannah had a miscarriage. This was late in the pregnancy and it left her infertile. But like the universe had corrected its course. You were aligned again. But Hannah and Simon were still living with his parents. They were married. Simon had a job at the Glaziers now. Eric had given him a full-time position after he left school. And then
Should I be looking up knock code? I wonder about that. It's like combining search terms. Right. completely forgot about going over those parent names. Actually, that's...
Yeah. I've been round to Doug and Eleanor's and they're very worried. I feel sorry for them.
Simon's parents.
Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I had to park down the end of the road. Walked up, knocked on the door, no answer. I took my keys out of my bag and unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. You can tell because the key doesn't turn when you try to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes in the shoe rack. I shouted out. I walked straight into the kitchen because he usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper, but he wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly in the living room. Nothing. So I walked upstairs to the bedroom and he wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. I had a shower. The phone rang whilst I was in the shower. I didn't answer it. I think it was Eric. Then I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, though I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. This time I spoke to him. Then I called Doug and Eleanor. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough? No. 1984 wasn't off with me in the end. We were living at Doug and Eleanor's. I lost the baby at the end of spring and my parents died in the summer. It was a hot summer, a heat wave. So when they discovered the bodies, it was just awful. Because of the circumstances, them dying together like that, they brought in a lot of police. A forensic entomologist. I had to look that up. It was because of the heat. It's just awful. No. 1984 wasn't awful. I lost in the end. Wasn't off with me in the end. We were living at Doug and Eleanor's. I lost the baby at the end of spring and my parents died in the summer. It was a hot summer, a heat wave. So when we discovered the bodies, it was just... Yes. I speak with Eleanor at least once a day. Not that there's anything much to say. It's more just...
Interesting. She spills the coffee on her shirt, so she has to take the shirt off. Which reveals a tattoo on her arm. Yeah, see, she starts off in a shirt. 14/21/47, 14/22/32.
Back 8 years back. It was a present to myself. I shouldn't even be drinking coffee with the baby. It's been hard trying to give it up.
That's why she wants the coffee.
I think they say you can have one cup.
Really should have searched for this one earlier.
No, he doesn't have any tattoos. He has a scar down here near his stomach. That's his hip. Cut himself with some gloves. That was before. A long time ago. He looks just like the photo. He's not got his glasses on here though. He takes them off with the camera. But he needs them to see properly, you know. He has to read a newspaper or a menu in a restaurant. Not book so much, or watching TV. Relax TV. Oh, my tattoo. I got it to express my individuality. It's an apple and a snake.
Well, that's not the slightest bit heavy-handed. So Eve is the one with the tattoo. I'll explain that just because I'm going to assume you're an idiot. It's obviously the biblical story of the Garden of Eden. The snake talks Eve into eating from the tree of knowledge at the centre of the Garden of Eden. The one thing that God has forbidden Adam and Eve to do. So Eve eats of it and convinces Adam to do so as well, and gets, damns all of humanity. It gets them kicked out of the Garden of Eden.
So I moved out. Got a small bed set. Got my tattoo to mark the occasion. I was singing in a bar in the evenings, so I had some money, enough money to cover my rent. And I've been doing something similar ever since. I haven't put down any roots. I don't exist. He saw me singing one of my shows, pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking.
Oxford.
I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was. But he didn't know who I was. He was fascinated by the likeness. Guessed my name from my tattoo. Told me it was a palindrome, like that would impress me. I enjoyed talking to him. It was amazing.
I hadn't caught that.
To be able to sit and interact and talk to him after all this time. He didn't tell me he was married. I'm not sure what he was thinking. He later told me it was like he was dreaming. A waking dream.
Come on, at least twice. Only twice. Because when she mentions her name, she goes on about being a palindrome, saying forwards and backwards. And Eve's the palindrome too. So, Hannah and Eve had both dated Simon whilst both pretending to be Hannah. And one of them became pregnant, presumably Hannah, and went basically with that won Simon for herself because she was pregnant. Couldn't keep up the facade when only one of them was pregnant. She was starts to show and couldn't keep it up. And suddenly, Eve can no longer keep switching. Eve can actually, in actual fact, Eve can no longer keep being part of her life. Especially, what would Simon do if he found out that he'd been sleeping with two different women? Beyond asking for a threesome, of course. Totally would do it too. And then years later, he meets Eve again. In Oxford.
Mum and Dad had never had any reason to notice. They were always busy. If Hannah was eating a lot, they didn't mind. She didn't put on any weight. That girl has a healthy appetite. If they heard us talking in the attic, they just thought it was Hannah playing one of her games, and that Eve was our imaginary friend. Once, she was already up and dressed and ready to go to school, and I snuck down for a piss. Mum saw me in my underwear, she went mad. Get dressed this instant! So I ducked into our bedroom, and seconds later, out came Hannah, dressed and ready. Mum was amazed. Mum and Dad had never had any reason to notice. They were always busy. If Hannah was eating a lot, they didn't mind. She didn't put on any weight. That girl. Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight. It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window and seeing her across the road. I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror. She was me.
There but for the grace of God go I. But for the grace of Florence.
Florence was a warm, kind person.
Who kidnaps babies?
But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there. I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand, I guess. I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She She was a widow from her 20s. Well, I mean, I guess it was different then. You married for life, and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. One of the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know. No, it was just me and her. He was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week. Yes. The first time we saw each other, it was strange. We both realised at the same moment, I think. We must have seen each other before, but there was this instant when we first realised it wasn't a reflection. The reflection was staring back. I think I was 5. It was my birthday. My reflection was wearing a party hat and waving. I knew what party hats were from books. And it suddenly occurred to me, today must be my birthday. I waved back and we just spent ages waving at each other and copying each other's movements. Mother wanted me to grow my hair long, but I kept cutting it myself. I wanted to look like my reflection. She always had short hair when she was little. Mother would hide the scissors, but I would find a way. Cut it with a bread knife, something like that. My reflection would always leave her house and go on adventures, but I never could. Mother taught me at home, and I had books and TV. Oh, TV was magical, but it was only on when it wanted to be, so I spent a lot of time reading books.
Books.
I wanted to see my reflection. I thought that if I touched her, something would happen. We would become one. One girl. The fairy tale was over, the witch was dead, and I'd be restored to my rightful place. Yeah. 1984 was an awful year in the end. We were living at Doug and Eleanor's.
Whoops! That's not what I meant to do. Trying to put this back up. I clicked yeah because I've been looking for Eleanor and I was doing this again. Back on the video, hopefully. Still going. Right, not Eleanor. Florence. Death. Eleanor. Simon's.
Florence was a warm, kind person. But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin, other stuff in it, older paint.
That's what I went to do. God damn with all that. Okay.
At the time they said it was poison, food poisoning. I mean, I felt so guilty. If I'd still been at home, maybe I could have done something. I don't know. I got a job to contribute, you know. Doug knew someone and I got a job as a dinner lady at the primary school. He said it didn't matter if I could cook or not, just don't poison the kids. So you see, it's always been complicated between me and Simon. It's never just been the two of us, there's always been pressure.
It's a good thing I keep writing little notes down. That's a word I should have searched a while ago. Aww.
Really? Here's the rest. Laid a body on the dock to dry. Oh, the wind and the rain, till a fiddler with a fiddle came. me the same question, you'll get the same answer. Is that your evidence? Of course I thought about what happened then. It's all I thought about. My husband is dead. Let me see. Yes. I drove in here because I remember well I went over the river, and then there was a church there. Yeah. And I probably well, I remember seeing a street sign called Princess Street. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it must be this one. There.
That's something I should have searched a long time ago. It's also a little interesting that showed up for Princess.
Yeah, we were 17. It was a nice wedding, people said. Simon looked very handsome in the photos. His parents paid for everything, but he's an only child, so it was important to them. It was what they called a shotgun wedding, but if you looked at the photos, you couldn't tell. The dress was beautiful. Yeah, we were 17. It was a nice wedding, people said. Simon looked very handsome in the photos. His parents
Just
paid for everything,
agree.
but he's an only child, so
But
it
of
was
course
important
they're
to them.
twins, so they would be the same age.
It was what they called a shotgun wedding, but if you looked at the photos, you couldn't tell. The dress was beautiful. It looked like Princess Diana's. The train wasn't quite as long though. There's a great photo of the bridesmaid helping to carry it out of the car. We were obsessed with fairy tales. Not just the pretty, pretty ones, but the traditional ones. They were dark and real, bizarre and violent. Felt like life. We had this huge old book that I think Mum must have bought from a library sale. The illustrations had thin tracing paper over them to protect them. They were in colour, shiny plates. At the front of the book was an index of illustrations. We read that more than the actual stories. We'd read aloud the captions and flick between the pictures. There was something intimate about peeling back the tracing paper and dressing the pictures. Rapunzel's hair is cut. The eagle plucks out his heart. The princess pricks her finger.
What? Eagle plucks out his heart? Is that Prometheus? That's not fairy tales, that's mythology. Okay.
It happened very quickly. We hardly had to talk to each other. We agreed almost silently. The baby was what mattered. We held each other. We cleaned up. We bagged up the broken mirror, her clothes. They're gone. We took him down to the cellar. We knew we had an alibi. And we wanted the body to be found later. We wanted to have suspicion on us so we could then disprove it rather than have it linger. Better to keep the body in the house than risk being seen with it. The watch, that was my touch, to make sure the alibi stuck.
Shit.
It happened very quickly. We hardly had to talk to each other. We agreed almost silently.
Okay, that's the alibi.
Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present, another mirror, just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open. She'd only meant to scare him off. Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight. It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out in my window.
Where did I note that down? I mentioned at the beginning of this episode that the interviewee had just fingered her sister for killing Simon. But there might be two interviewees, as you know, Hannah and Eve. And Eve is saying Hannah is the one who kills Simon.
Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present, another mirror, just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present.
So Simon was having an affair with Eve, who was actually Hannah.
He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open. She'd only meant to scare him off. happened very quickly. Florence raised me.
Really? Because if I'm reading this database checker correct, in the 11:30, 12:03, so in the half an hour from that block to that block all occurred. Some of these clips are only like a minute or less. Okay, that makes sense. So where are we? In all honesty, I've got nothing. I mean, I've got loads of theories, but theories are nothing. A squat, the deadly bupkis, nada, zip, seal, squat, deadly. Did I already say that? Bupkis. Whatever. What I want is evidence. I want forensic reports. I want corroboration. I want autopsy reports. Fingerprints. Probably wouldn't have camera footage back in '94 because we weren't such a police state back then. Though my hometown shut off the security cameras, curiously enough. I say hometown, where I live now, ish. You know, I'm rambling so much. I'm lost. I don't really know where I'm going with this, and obviously there's a lot I've still yet to hear. Alright, so this is going to be the end of the hour-long episode 3. What happened to me trying to keep these to about half an hour? Well, shit. Anyway, this is the end of episode 3, and I have no idea what the truth is. Lots of possible theories though. Good night.